Welcome back to Taiwan Outlook. Our guest today is Richard Vostek, Executive Director of the American Chamber of Commerce in Taiwan. Richard has been talking about Europe activities and Taiwan's business environments. But over the years, your chamber has been advocating closer economic links between Taiwan and China. Why do you think that should be the case?
Well, one of the reasons that we have taken this view, of course, is because Taiwanese have already decided to make close links, right? I was here, of course, in Taiwan in 1988 when the first trips from Taiwan to China took place. And it was very soon thereafter that those trips to see relatives or to visit places in China also became business opportunities. And what we've seen since 1988 to today is extraordinary growth of Taiwanese investment in China. And not just in South China, which where it started originally, of course, but throughout the whole country. And to the extent where almost 5% of the population actually lives in China and works in China, and of course travels back and forth to headquarters back here oftentimes, or seeing family. So what we've seen is Taiwanese themselves being very much interested in the expanding markets in China. And of course, the whole world looks increasingly on China as a marketplace for the world, or one of the marketplaces for the world. But it's mainly low end and at least initially labor intensive and so forth. So that there's a real division of labor between Taiwan and China, just like there is between the United States and China, for example, for manufacturing. So we can say, I think, quite definitively that Taiwan and China are already connected at shoulder and hip with all this economic exchange, mainly going from Taiwan to China. But the circulation system is not too good. And what we're concerned about in the Chamber, what we see not only for Taiwanese companies but also for multinationals like the ones I represent, is that by not having direct links to China, especially the transportation links, it makes it very difficult to work a regional business plan where Taiwan's a key part, because time is money. And if you can fly from Taipei to Shanghai in less than 2 hours and do your business and come back, you'd have a very different kind of approach to where you would live, where you do your training, where do you have other sorts of activities, either in China or Taiwan or the United States, for that matter. And so what we see as a tremendous opportunity for job creation and for further sophistication and differentiation of Taiwan's economy as possible if these direct links were possible. As far as what I've mentioned, training and so forth, one of the things that Taiwan really has an advantage is its IPR protections. And so doing R&D, research and development in Taiwan, makes a lot of sense, except that people who do an R&D have to be close to the factories.
That's right.
And if it takes them a day to get there and a day to get back, then Taiwan becomes a less attractive place. And that's what's happening. So we're concerned that that's just one example of many, but with the direct links, we think, there are direct links to China already, except as Hong Kong. But I think we'll see a huge real explosion of job opportunities, of investment in Taiwan, new investment to take advantage of the ease of travel. Because frankly, Taiwan's a better place to live compared to most places in China.
So in principle, AmCham is in support of the TA between Taiwan and the U.S.
Right. What we have been encouraging the government for a long time is to get going on the negotiations, put things on the table, and really drive things forward. Our disappointment has been, unlike my colleagues in Korea, for example, where the government and the chamber worked extremely closely together and going over the kinds of specific issues and how the chamber could give more visibility to them. We never got as far into specifics in Taiwan, I think, in order to get the enthusiasm from our membership. So I think lessons were learned on both sides on that. So if and when FTA negotiations are possible again, certainly the Chamber is going to take a very close look at that and try to be helpful.
We have heard from some government officials from the U.S. side that the FTA between Taiwan and the U.S. would be meaningless if there's no three links between Taiwan and China. Do you think that's a correct way of describing what's really going on?
Well, I think it's partially I think the proper statement, and I've written on this myself, is not to be meaningless, but it's the way to make the FTA work.
Why is that?
And the reason is that, say, even the American Chamber of members we've got, say the 400 and some companies that I represent, almost all those companies have offices in both Taiwan and in China. And so if you say, and what happened is, as the FTA was being discussed over the past several years, even though we tried to encourage otherwise, people are saying, you need to, to our companies, you need to, Taiwan is being isolated by China in the region. We need to have counterbalance because of too much investment into China. So please support an FTA to protect us against China. Well, that's the wrong line of argument. It politicizes unnecessarily an economic issue. And you can't say, well, I mean, no big company is going to say, okay, I'll support in high visibility an FTA with Taiwan because to protect you from China when you've got investments in China also. And so instead of saying, as we tried to say in the American Chamber, that an FTA with Taiwan is a win-win-win situation. United States, Taiwan, and China win. With Taiwan probably the bigger winner of the three, because the topics for the United States there was not a whole lot, it wasn't huge numbers like it is with the Korea FTA, for example, but certainly good for Taiwan. And yet that political overlay kept coming over, and that really made people very reluctant to be supportive.
But the economic reality is that there will be FTAs between among ASEAN countries, 10 plus 1, ASEAN plus China, ASEAN plus 3, Korea and Japan and China and so on. And Taiwan has been left out. So economically, doesn't it make sense that Taiwan should be somewhat included in this kind of economic integration process?
Well, of course, that's our view too. That Taiwan should be integrated as much as possible, and that's why I was a little disappointed that this political overlay kept really stopping the FTA development here. The real argument was that an FTA is good for Taiwan, it's good for the United States, and with one, it makes Taiwan a springboard to China and the Southeast Asia and every place else more than it is already. And just leave it there. But this, you get this overlay of political rhetoric was counterproductive. And it kept coming up and so people really were shy to pursue it further. So I think, say with the next administration, so we have a new U.S. president coming in and a new Taiwan president coming in, I think we'll see another opportunity to upgrade the TIFA talks to something bigger, assuming that FTAs are back on the congressional agenda. I hope they will be.
In response to this kind of greater economic integration in the region, the U.S. government also proposed, the Bush administration also proposed the so-called FTAP, free trade area in Asia Pacific, which is, I wouldn't say replacement, but it's some sort of different design in addition to the ASEAN plus 1 plus 3.